Hey there, Haslet. Mason here with Homecoming Haslet, and I got a friend today. This is Tommy Chase, and we're actually outside of my house as I'm getting solar installed. And so I just thought this would be an interesting conversation once I met Tommy, because he is actually right here in Haslet, right? And he is a so what would you call yourself? What's your title?
You bet. Well, I'm one of the co-owners of DFW Solar Consultants. We've been in operation now a little over 2 years. I've been in the Haslet area now, right down the street from you, for about 15 years.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I wanted to talk to Tommy, and I liked that he is a consultant. He's not working for one specific company, so he was a great resource for me personally as far as information about solar. I knew very little. I heard there's, the government wants to give you a credit. That's basically all I knew, and that, so I didn't really know how it works. So first off, what is the idea with the government credit for solar? Like, how are you helped out by getting solar?
Sure. So what's happened now, since solar's really taken off here in North Texas and all of Texas, is the government stepping in to incentivize homeowners to put solar on their home. The benefit of that is pulling as much energy off of the grid. So now we're allowing the homes to produce the energy, push it right back into the grid. So there's a lot less stress on the grid with what's going on with the major constructions going on, the amount of homes that are currently now using the electricity from the grid. So what the government did with the tax incentive is, for the last 5 years, they've offered a 26% tax credit based on the cost of the system. The good news is just recently there's legislation that's been passed. It's now increased it from 26 to 30%. Wow. So when you have a system installed on your home, whatever the cost is times 30%, they're going to reduce the cost of that system down by that amount. And there's some caveats that goes with that on who qualifies and when you get the money, but overall it's a 30% tax credit that goes against the cost of the system.
So that's pretty cool. So especially if you're self-employed like me, any kind of tax credit is great. Maybe don't feel that as much if you're a W-2 employee, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And then okay, so something you just mentioned that really that I didn't know about is that, so you're saying that the solar panels on your home can actually create enough energy to where you're pushing energy back into the grid versus drawing from it, right?
That's correct. So to kind of, in layman's term, to make this simple for just the everyday person, is that you're connected to the grid at all times, even when you have solar put on your home. So you're either pulling from the grid, so at night whenever you're not producing energy, you're pulling from the grid, or you're pushing excess energy back into the grid. So if you're using more electricity, then you're pulling. If you're using less electricity, then you're pushing. So there's this constant push-pull. The nice thing with solar is you'll be able to produce, and we come out, take a look at your roof, look at how much consumption you have on a monthly, annual basis, and we'll produce a system that'll generate up to 100, 102, 103% of the electricity that you're currently using. So at the end of each month, it's called net metering. You'll hear that phrase used a lot. How much did I use? How much did I produce? And then we just net that off. And then any excess electricity gets pushed back into the grid, which you'll get credit for. And then again, if there's a shortage, which again, some months, the cloudier months, during the winter months when you're not producing as much, there might be a little bit of a shortage on it.
Yeah. So, and what was cool to me was that we looked at how much I was paying and using electricity-wise, and then we figured out how many panels we'd need to kind of basically cover that.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So in your case, we were looking at, how many panels is it going to take to produce the same amount of electricity that you're using now? So then again, we just took an annual consumption, divided that by 12, That's how much you're using each month, and then that way we would know in your home how many panels it would take to offset each month. Now there'll be months where you're, like I said, you're going to overproduce, and then there'll be some months out there with the cloudier months, the rainier months, and the spring whenever you're going to have a little bit more cloud coverage. So that way, again, we'll get you with the right electric company as well, and make sure that, again, what's happening to that excess energy. So that way, whenever you have some shortages, it can do some offsetting for you on the months that you're short.
Yeah, so pretty cool. It's kind of a nice way of balancing things out. And in my case, definitely cost effective, because I was starting to pay a lot more monthly. And so, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to be paying for the solar panels, yes, but that monthly payment is end up being less than I'm paying on average for my electricity.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. So not only are we looking at usage, but also how much were you paying? So we just take, again, 1 year's worth of electric bills. And some people, like in this new construction, you've only been here 3 months, 6 months. We can still figure out exactly, based on average for this area, on the sides of the house and how much electricity you're using. And then that way we can determine, again, how many panels it's going to take. So we'll be able to take and just put together a system that would offset. You're exactly right when it comes to the bill. How much money were you paying each year? And then we say, okay, if it's the X amount of dollars, and how much were you going to be paying for the solar? At the end of the day, it's about saving money. So again, if we could say that you were going to be paying $100 a month, $1,200 at the end of the year, is going with solar less than $1,200. And in your case, it was significant, again, with the craziness and the cost of energy going up right now. It's through the roof. But even in the normal years, solar's still going to be able to save you money at the end of each year based on the size system we put on your house.
Yeah, and I like that. And we actually got to look at how much usage, not just how much I was paying, but how much usage I was having. And we could see that what I was being charged per kilowatt, or however they measure it, was steadily increasing.
Correct.
Month after month. They kept jumping the rate of what they were charging for the same electricity. So I'm here in Haslet. In my area, it's Tri-County Electric, and so, but this is good to know, because you might think you have a grip on what your situation is, but I was surprised to find out that they were throttling up the rate of what they were charging me. So, and that gave me some kind of perspective for the future that, hey, I don't know how far this thing's going to go up and what it's going to look like. So then that started to make solar a lot more attractive to me.
Sure, and I think you raise a really good point that a lot of these new developments are going with a co-op program, to where you don't have a choice on who your electric company is. You're locked in with Tri-County right now in this subdivision. I live right down the street, and I'm open to choose whoever I want. But even with going with a co-op, you're still going to have an increase just based on the cost of what energy is. Right now, again, with the crazy times, it is steadily going up. And unfortunately, when you're in a co-op, there's no flexibility. You pay what they tell you have to pay. Yeah. You're kind of at the mercy of whatever Tri-County has. And again, a lot of those companies do have good rates, but at the end of the day, it's all about saving money. And again, I know with the environment, you hear a lot of the talk about the Green New Deal and all that goes into trying to help protect as much of the resources we have. That's again where solar's not the be all end all. It's not the solution, but it is a big piece of the solution. Yeah. As you do see the rates increasing out there, as you do see the cost of everything going through the roof, this is where solar can come in and kind of help stabilize people's income based on their income, based on their monthly bills. It can definitely have an impact on the amount of money they're paying each month for their solar.
Yeah, and that's great. So one other thing that you talked to me about that I thought would be good to share is so if you're going to sell your house and you have solar, because that was something I was conscious of. Okay, correct. So if I sell my house, there are three options. There are three situations on what it looks like. So just in case you're thinking, because I was in this boat. I told Tommy when I first met, I said, my biggest concern is if I go to sell my house, what situation am I going to be in with the solar panels on? Is it going to be a plus? Is it going to be a negative? Is it going to, you know, whatever? So what were the three options?
You bet. And this is a very common question that does come up a lot, is if we put solar on our house and I decide to move, what happens? And there is three options. Number one, you can take them with you. It's not always the best scenario, but it is an option. You're going to have to take down the solar, we'll have to repair the roof, and then the new home that you go to, we'll certainly have to have engineers come out and do a new design, find out exactly how many panels, where we can put them, and that is definitely an option to take them with you. Not the best option, but definitely one that you can take advantage of. The second option is that the new homeowners can come in and assume the contract, the warranty, and just pick up right where you left off. So if you've been in your home for 2 years, they pick up the rest of the 25-year warranty, so they'll still have 23 years left and whatever it is that you've used of it. So everything is transferable for you. The big one that most people are going with is that you can take the balance of what you owe on the solar, and then you can just roll that into the cost of the selling price. It will pay off with the understanding that whenever the house closes, you're going to pay the solar panels completely off. And now your new homeowners are going to have no bill for the solar, and then their electric bill could be reduced down as low as nothing.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really big incentive. In the state of Texas, you come and look at some bills in June, July, August, and they're not having a solar bill, and their electric bill is literally down to nothing. It's a huge attractive incentive for people that have solar on their homes now. So you can take it with you. You can assume the note and the new buyers can take over right where you left off, or you can just roll it into the selling price of your house, pay everything off, and everything is clear and free for the new homeowners.
Yeah, that's good to know. So, you know, those are just some basic things that, you know, Tommy's very knowledgeable. I wanted him to share some of the things he shared with me, you know, with the channel. So I wanted Tommy to share some of the basic ideas behind solar, some things that'd be good for somebody who was like me a month ago or 2 months ago that I didn't really know much. So I thought it'd be helpful. And I wanted to say this, that Tommy he's a broker, so he's working with different companies and able to kind of analyze your situation and what's available and offer something that's a good fit for you and your family, for your household. And so that was a good situation for me. I really like that. He's here in Haslet, so I definitely recommend him. His kids are going to Eaton, and you know, he's a local guy. So yep. You know, in this channel we're all about Haslet and what's happening in the community. So I definitely wanted to promote him. Had a good experience. So far so good. The panels are going up right now, so we'll see. I can't wait to share my new solar electric life from there. But thanks, Tommy. Appreciate you chatting with us.
You bet. Thank you, and I do appreciate it. And as you were saying, I like to just really emphasize one thing: as being a consultant, I try to give out as much information as I possibly can. And I told you the same thing that I've told every customer that I've spoke with. I like people having all the information so they know what they're saying yes to and what they're saying no to. I mean, I'd love to do business with everybody. The reality is I can't sell everybody, but I can provide a lot of good information. Some of the things we talked about with the tax credits, with the solar itself, and then there's so much that goes into all the little pieces that ties all this together with the products, the warranties. Obviously the cost is a big piece of this, so regardless of whether you buy from me or not, I would love to be the person that comes out, consult with you, give you all the information, and make sure again you're making an educated decision on what you should or shouldn't do. Not everybody's a great fit for solar, but in the case that you are, I'd love to give all the information out, so when it does come time to make that decision, again, you know what you're saying yes to or what you're saying no to. Consulting doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time, and I'd be happy to come out and share all the information and knowledge that I have to the solar companies.
All right, boom, there you have it, people. That's happening right here in our community. So you can check out the description in this video for more info on Tommy and how to get in touch with him if you're thinking about solar yourself. Hopefully this video has been informative and helpful for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys.